that out. I just think people really might want to see that.
Speaking engagements throughout our nation and Japan and the UK. So what really makes tonight special is this is the only event where I asked to come and speak at. I had the great pleasure of meeting Monica in London in January and discovered really what a wonderful program this is, and it really sparked my interest. And that's why I asked Monica, could I come to this convention? Can I actually go into schools and see how eMINTS actually works? And that's why I'm here, so thank you so very much. And it was also a great pleasure today to meet John and his lovely wife, Lois. To know that there's somebody else out there who speaks with an accent. It was good fun today. The title National Teacher of the Year, it's really a nice title, but really it comes with a disclaimer. It implies something that I'm not the nation's best teacher. And that's certainly a moniker that cannot belong to any one person. I've been given this great privilege and honor, blessing, if you will, to go around and represent not only teachers in the teaching profession, but to advocate for students. And when Monica was speaking about my story, it's really can't be told. My story is really not that unique. The reason my story is quote-unquote special is because it's the story of my students. And I can only tell my story through the eyes of my students. And it's so wonderful to be standing in front of educators today and people who are also promoting education and facilitating education and helping educators and teachers to do their jobs well. Because when it really comes down to it, that's what we're here for, the students. And as Monica said, I did have another career before here. I spent almost 21 years in the NYPD, working in homicide units, narcotic units, and gang units, and so on and so forth, where I was exposed to a lot of troubled young people, particularly in neighborhoods for Mullen and Washington Heights in New York City. And I decided when I was a sergeant at the time to really pursue my dream of becoming a teacher, something I always wanted to be. And I wanted to become a teacher, but it wasn't really that easy to do. I didn't realize how hard it was to become a teacher and all the schooling that was involved in becoming a teacher. And fortunately at the time, Long Island University offered a program where they were offering a degree program to police officers and firefighters in New York City to earn a college degree. Because police officers and firefighters work different hours every week, and we have had different days off every week. And I jumped on that program. And I didn't realize at the time that I would have to, if I worked in the daytime, I'd have to go to school at night. If I worked at night, I'd have to go to school in the day. And I'd have to drive from Harlem every day out to Long Island about an hour and a half. And I was doing that full time, and was also had a family with 3 children and working a whole bit. And I remember after about a year of doing it, trying to earn my degree, I got really worn out, both physically and mentally. I was exhausted. And I didn't think I could do it anymore. And I remember driving home one night, not actually driving home, but driving to work. And I called my wife up and I told her that, I said, I can't do this anymore. I don't think I'm going to become a teacher. I can't continue to work full time and also go to school full time. And she was great. She said, just don't make any hasty decisions right now. Kind of sleep on it a little bit. We'll talk about it when you get home, and just no decisions today. And I'm really glad she told me that, because that night something special had really occurred in my life. It was about 8:30 at night, and I was working up in Spanish Harlem, and we received a phone call, my partner and I, that there was a young lady who was attempting to commit suicide. She was standing on top of a fire escape railing on the 5th floor of a tenement building. And when we pulled up to the scene, we saw this large crowd of people just pointing up. And there was this 15, 16-year-old teenager who was there standing very precariously on this rusty fire escape. The only thing that was holding her there were two hands holding another piece of metal. And an elderly gentleman just walked up to me and said, "She's local," and he walked away. But I remember running into that building trying to find out where the window was that led to that fire escape. And I found it on the 5th floor, and it was a small window, and I managed to squeeze through that window. And even though you're a police officer, you're not really trained on what to say to somebody when they're about to jump. So all the cliches come out, and I told this young lady that she was too young to die, and she was beautiful, and she had family and friends that cared about her, and we loved her. And all that made her do was release one hand. And I was just about to tell her something else, and then she jumped. And somehow, some way, as she jumped, I was able to leap at her, and I grabbed a piece of her. And she pulled me about halfway over the fire escape. And I remember praying at the time, just saying, "Please God, give me the strength to hold on to her for a few more moments." And I told my partner, I said, "You got to get down to the 4th floor and grab her feet, because I can't hold her much longer." And I was thinking, I don't want to see the look on her face as she falls down that dirty New York City street. And I certainly didn't want my face to be the last face you saw as she fell. And fortunately, my partner was able to get down to the 4th floor and grab her ankles and stabilize her. And I was able to put my arms underneath her armpits and pull her up over. And there we were, just two people huffing and puffing on a rusty New York City fire escape. And she was taken away by an ambulance for observation, and I went back to patrol. And I hadn't seen this young lady for another couple of weeks, until one night there she was, standing on a street corner. And what was she doing? She was being a teenager. She was laughing, singing, talking with other teenagers. And I remember watching her from my radio car window. I didn't stop, didn't get out to say anything to her, because I realized at the time that we had both given each other something. I, in my own way, had given her this other opportunity to live and be who she was, a teenager, to sing and to dance and to laugh and be with her friends. And she had given me something special. She had given me this renewed energy to continue my education, become a teacher. A very special moment. And ever since that moment, I had realized that my dream to become a teacher was going to happen. And not only was it going to happen, this was the population of students that I wanted to work with. I wanted to find a profession that I could be part of that was more proactive rather than reactive in the lives of troubled young people. And when you think about it, there is no other profession than education and teaching that can do that. That can really allow us as adults to get involved intimately in the lives of young people and to be there before they make